guys, my name's Casey Kaki and I'm a special effects makeup artist located here in Arizona. And we've been going over some different types of looks for Phoenix Comet Fest taking place Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to take a tissue and I'm just lightly going to pull it apart. You want your tissue as thin as possible. Taking that tissue, I'm going to kind of grab the inside and twist and pull. Kind of pulling out like this little flower design. From that, you have some really great edges to work with. I double fold it over. I'm going to take a little bit of liquid latex and just kind of go over to her cheek. And I'm going to take that flower design, just keep twisting it until I get the right size that I want for her face. And lightly lay that down. And now we're just going to continue putting on our liquid latex. I try to pinch the tissue to make a little pocket. You want that skin to build up. I'm just going to go around by my edges, make sure that everything's laying down where I want or sticking up the way I want it to. So we just put a ton of latex on there. We're going to give it a minute or so to dry. Cue time lapse. So now we're going into blues. So I used my bruise wheel to kind of pull out some of that nice blue texture color. And I'm also mixing it in with black. Now what I did ahead of time is I had some red on my brush and I just lightly wiped it. So that way I'm getting a little mixture of some colors. And in this deep little hole we made, we really want to make it super dark. So now I'm going to use my death wheel and I'm pulling in some gray. We're going to kind of go around the outside of the prosthetic. And then we'll bring it around to the lower part of the chin. I'm going to carry that gray across the chin. So over in the back, I'm leaving it more of like the blues and the grays. And over in the inside of like that old wound is where you want to bring in the purples. So I'm starting to take that purple and bringing it down and shading into the rest of the face. Now I'm going to go in with just a little bit of some bright red. We'll do a little red on the edges to kind of pop it and have that highlight that we want. And then this is where you can take your red paint, definitely like a fire engine red, and a really narrow brush. Mix just a little bit of black, just a tiny bit, and fill in those pockets. Now I'm going to take my black and do some shading on top. Before we start painting it officially, we're going to take a little bit of black on a stipple sponge or a regular sponge and just start to kind of cover those edges. So now I'm just going through kind of with the leftover black and smudging the whole look together. And then I'm going to have you relax your lips real quick and I'm going to go over your lips. Underneath the nose area, you want to bring in a little red with that black. So now we're going to take our little brush and we're going to go into our dark blue. We're going to go back to focus on those lips. If you have red on your brush, keep it because it's just going to add some texture. My one recommendation is try not to have such a hard line because then it does look a little more like lipstick. So next what we're going to do is I took Vaseline and I mixed a little bit of either eyeshadow or blue paint. And then the cool part that you do is you take a little bit of Sweet and Low and you mix it in with that Vaseline. And this gives you your kind of fake snow. What I'm doing is I'm taking a nail file, if you don't have a stipple brush, and I'm just lightly kind of applicating it. Then if you take an Alka-Seltzer little pellet and kind of crunch it together you also get this nice little snow drizzle. Then we're gonna get a little bit of blood, just a little bit because they are frozen. And we're gonna put it in that nice little pocket that we made. Kind of pack it in there. And then you wanna pull that fake skin right on top of it. I like to put a little bit of fake blood near the lips as if like they've kind of been cracking. Last what I do is I take a little bit of Sweet and Low and I mix it in with styrofoam. So you can get these styrofoam blocks at the dollar store, just kind of crunching it up, getting some different textures. Then we want to take a little bit of hairspray, and I'm just going to hairspray a bit. Sorry, surprise! And you want to make sure that they kind of hold that pose. And then we're going to take some red aerosol, and we're just going to come right in the edges, and you want to hold your breath. And we'll add some black. Hold your breath. We'll take a little bit of some black charcoal powder, and you want to make sure you have a dry brush that hasn't been used. And just make sure you define those lips just right in the center. Right on top of that blood so it looks a little bit older. And bringing it down underneath. What you can also do with a little bit of charcoal powder is show a little bit of aging. So I'm gonna have you look up real quick. You're gonna go right in the corner of the eye, and then you can just close your eyes for me. Make sure you don't have too much on your brush. And all you're doing now is just kind of like shading it out. And do one more with just a little bit of blue and purple under your eye. And then as I finish out the eye, I'm gonna bring it and blend it into our last design. And so that is a basic look to get some frostbite.